United Nations Organization, shaping global cooperation for peace and progress. The League of Nations was established following the conclusion of World War I. The globe once more began to burn in the aftermath of Globe War II, and the League of Nations quickly proved to be an ineffective attempt to bring about a universal order. The globe was urged to strive toward establishing world peace following the devastation of the human race during Globe War II. All countries at the time had sustainable development, international collaboration, and world peace as their top priorities. With this objective, an international organization known as the United Nations Organization, UNO, came into existence on 24 October 1945, whereby 51 member nations signed the UN Charter leading to the establishment of the organization. It was the replacement for the League of Nations. Origin and historical context. The UNO's formation was deeply influenced by the devastation caused by World War II. It emerged as an international response to foster collective security and prevent another catastrophic global conflict. The horrors of the war highlighted the urgent need for a platform where nations could engage in dialogue and resolve conflicts through diplomacy rather than warfare. Purpose and principles. The UNO's principal goals are to uphold world peace and security, as well as to advance social progress, higher living conditions, and human rights everywhere. Through promoting international collaboration, enabling communication, offering humanitarian aid, and carrying out sustainable development projects, the organization hopes to accomplish these objectives. The goals of equality, sovereignty, non-interference, and peaceful dispute settlement serve as the foundation for the UNO's tenets. Formation and structure. The International Court of Justice, the General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, and the Secretariat are the organs of the organizations that make up the United Nations. The main organs of the United Nations include 1. General Assembly, GA, comprising all 193 member states. The General Assembly is the principal deliberative, policy-making, and representative organ of the UN. It discusses and makes decisions on a wide array of global issues, such as peace and security, budgetary matters, and development initiatives. Each member state has one vote. 2. Security Council, SC. The Security Council, responsible for maintaining peace and security, comprises 10 permanent members selected for 2-year periods and 5 permanent members who possess veto power: China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom and the United States. It has the authority to impose penalties, approve peacekeeping efforts, and adopt legally binding decisions. 3. Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC. ECOSOC coordinates the economic, social, and related work of 15 UN specialized agencies, 10 functional commissions, and 5 regional commissions. It develops policy suggestions and encourages global collaboration on social and economic challenges. 4. Secretariat, under the direction of the Secretary-General, the Secretariat manages the UN's daily operations and puts decisions taken by the other organs into action. It provides administrative support, conducts research, and manages UN operations globally. 5. Trusteeship Council, originally established to oversee the administration of trust territories, the Trusteeship Council suspended its operations after all territories gained independence. It meets occasionally to review the situation in territories that have yet to attain self-government. 6. International Court of Justice, ICJ, entrusted with the responsibility of delivering justice in the matters of dispute among the nations. This body is often referred to as the World Court. It settles legal disputes between states and provides advisory opinions on legal questions referred to it by authorized UN organs or specialized agencies. All these organizations work together to maintain peace, support development efforts, protect rights, and address challenges. Key functions of the United Nations Organization. The United Nations, UN, carries out tasks to achieve its goals of fostering peace, ensuring development, and safeguarding human rights. These tasks fall into 3 categories: upholding peace and security, advancing sustainable development efforts, and safeguarding human rights. Maintenance of international peace and security. Peacekeeping operations. The United Nations Organization, UNO, plays a role in participating in peacekeeping endeavors. These endeavors entail sending civilian personnel from member nations to areas affected by conflicts aiming to prevent or resolve disputes. Peacekeepers act as mediators between opposing factions, oversee ceasefires, and aid in implementing peace agreements. Dispute resolution mechanisms. The UNO also provides dispute resolution mechanisms for member states to peacefully settle conflicts. This includes diplomacy, negotiation, mediation, and arbitration. By offering a neutral and impartial platform for dialogue, the UNO helps to escalate tensions and facilitates the resolution of disputes. Arms control and non-proliferation efforts. Given the risks associated with the availability of weapons capable of causing mass destruction, the United Nations, UN, plays a vital role in managing and reducing arms. This responsibility includes overseeing adherence to agreements, like the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and the Chemical Weapons Convention, well as actively supporting disarmament endeavors through diplomatic negotiations and initiatives. Promotion of sustainable development. Climate change mitigation and adaptation. The United Nations Organization, UNO, takes the lead in endeavors to tackle climate change by promoting collaboration and discussions. It has a role in organizing conferences and meetings such as the Conference of the Parties, COP, under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Through these initiatives, the UN encourages countries to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions, adapt to climate change impacts, and support nations in their efforts to mitigate and adapt. Poverty alleviation and humanitarian assistance. The United Nations Organization, UNO, focuses on eliminating poverty and extending help to those who require assistance. It actively backs initiatives that aim to enhance opportunities, healthcare access, clean water availability, and sanitation in developing nations. Moreover, it collaborates in coordinating relief efforts during disasters and humanitarian emergencies by providing aid and supporting long-term projects for fostering resilience and sustainable livelihoods. Gender equality and education initiatives. Gender equality and providing opportunities for everyone are central priorities for the United Nations. The organization is committed to eradicating discrimination and violence based on gender, promoting women's empowerment, and ensuring that girls and women have access to education and employment opportunities. Initiatives such as the United Nations Girls' Education Initiative, UNGE, and UN Women play a role in dismantling barriers and fostering societies. Protection of human rights. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The United Nations, UN, has a commitment to protecting and promoting rights on a level. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was approved by the General Assembly in 1948, serves as a guiding document in this mission. It establishes the rights and freedoms that should be recognized and defended universally by all member nations. Human Rights Council and treaty bodies. The UN Human Rights Council is a part of the United Nations for monitoring and dealing with human rights violations on a global scale. It conducts assessments of member countries' records on rights and looks into reports of abuses. Furthermore, the UN has set up committees like the Committee on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women and the Committee on the Rights of the Child to ensure that specific human rights agreements are followed. Combating discrimination and promoting justice. The United Nations, also called the UN, has a role in addressing types of discrimination like racism, sexism, and intolerance based on religion or culture. The organization actively strives to promote fairness, responsibility, and adherence to laws in regions affected by conflicts. By advocating for the rights of marginalized communities and encouraging societies, the UN aims to build a world from discrimination and injustice. United Nations specialized bodies, programs, and associated bodies. The United Nations, UN, consists of agencies, programs, and affiliated organizations that concentrate on specific global issues such as agriculture, aviation, labor, health, education, and more. These entities have a role in carrying out the UN's objectives and tackling challenges. United Nations specialized bodies. 1. Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO. O formation, established in 1945. O headquarters, Rome, Italy. O objectives, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, has a mission to combat hunger, enhance nutrition and promote growth worldwide. It offers aid. Serves as a source of knowledge for agriculture, forestry, fisheries, and rural development. 2. International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. O formation, founded in 1944. O headquarters, Montreal, Canada. O objectives, ICAO sets global standards for aviation safety, security, efficiency, and environmental responsibility. It fosters cooperation among member states to ensure the safe and orderly growth of civil aviation. 3. International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. O formation, established in 1977. O headquarters, Rome, Italy. O objectives, IFAD's main objective is to combat poverty in developing nations by offering assistance in the form of loans and grants for initiatives that promote agricultural development. This approach aims to empower small-scale farmers and rural communities, fostering their growth and well-being. 4. International Labour Organization, ILO. O formation, founded in 1919. O headquarters, Geneva, Switzerland. O objectives, ILO sets international labor standards, promotes decent work, social protection, and workers' rights. It addresses issues related to employment, social justice, and labor rights worldwide. 5. International Monetary Fund, IMF. O formation, established in 1944. O headquarters, Washington, D.C., USA. O objectives, the IMF plays a role in fostering cooperation on monetary matters, ensuring financial stability, promoting exchange rate stability, and supporting economic growth and employment by providing policy guidance and financial support. 6. International Maritime Organization, IMO. O formation, established in 1948. O headquarters, London, United Kingdom. O objectives, IMO regulates shipping by setting standards for safety, security, environmental performance, and efficiency in international waters to prevent maritime accidents and pollution. 7. International Telecommunication Union, ITU. O formation, founded in 1865. O headquarters, Geneva, Switzerland. O objectives, ITU coordinates global telecommunications networks and services, allocating radio spectrum and satellite orbits. It aims for universal and equitable access to information and communication technologies, ICTs. 8. United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. O formation, established in 1945. O headquarters, Paris, France. O objectives, UNESCO promotes peace and security through international cooperation in education, sciences, culture, and communication. It focuses on fostering knowledge societies and cultural diversity. 9. United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. O formation, founded in 1966. O headquarters, Vienna, Austria. O objectives, UNIDO supports sustainable industrial development, particularly in developing countries, aiming to alleviate poverty, generate employment, and foster economic growth through industrialization. 10. World Tourism Organization, UNWTO. O formation, founded in 1975. O headquarters, Madrid, Spain. O objectives, UNWTO promotes sustainable and responsible tourism, emphasizing its economic, social, cultural, and environmental value. It works to maximize tourism's contribution to global development. 11. Universal Postal Union, UPU. O formation, established in 1874. O headquarters, Bern, Switzerland. O objectives, UPU fosters cooperation among postal services worldwide, setting the rules for international mail exchanges and promoting a universal postal system that ensures affordable and efficient services. 12 World Health Organization, WHO. O formation, founded in 1948. O headquarters, Geneva, Switzerland. O objectives, WHO directs and coordinates international health within the United Nations system. It provides leadership on global health matters, sets norms and standards, and provides technical support to countries. 13 World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. O formation, founded in 1967. O headquarters, Geneva, Switzerland. O objectives, WIPO protects intellectual property rights globally, offering a forum for policy dialogue, cooperation, and the development of international IP systems to encourage innovation and creativity. 14 World Meteorological Organization, WMO. O formation, established in 1950. O headquarters, Geneva, Switzerland. O objectives, WMO facilitates international cooperation in weather, climate, and water-related issues. It provides expertise and guidance to improve weather forecasts, climate predictions, and early warning systems. 15 World Bank. O formation, established in 1944. O headquarters, Washington, D.C., USA. O objectives, the World Bank offers technical support to developing nations for development initiatives. Its primary objectives are to alleviate poverty, stimulate progress, and encourage growth. Funds and programs. 1 United Nations Development Programme, UNDP. O formation, established in 1965. O headquarters, New York City, USA. O objectives, the UNDP works in 170 countries and regions aiming to eradicate poverty, diminish inequality, and promote development. 2 United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP. O formation, established in 1972. O headquarters, Nairobi, Kenya. O objectives, UNEP coordinates environmental activities, assists countries in implementing sustainable policies, and advocates for the protection of the environment. 3 United Nations Human Settlements Programme, UNHABITAT. O formation, founded in 1978. O headquarters, Nairobi, Kenya. O objectives, UN Habitat works towards the goal of fostering development, ensuring access to suitable housing for everyone, and promoting the creation of environmentally resilient cities. 4 United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF. O formation, established in 1946. O headquarters, New York City, USA. O objectives, UNICEF is dedicated to safeguarding the well-being of children by ensuring they have access to services such as healthcare, vaccinations, clean water, education, and protection from violence, exploitation, and HIV/AIDS. 5 United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA. O formation, established in 1969. O headquarters, New York City, USA. O objectives, UNFPA supports reproductive health, gender equality, and population and development strategies. 6 World Food Programme, WFP. O formation, established in 1961. O headquarters, Rome, Italy. O objectives, WFP provides food assistance and works on hunger relief and food security in emergency and development contexts. Other associated bodies. 1 Joint United Nations Programme on HIV/AIDS, UNAIDS. O objectives, UNAIDS motivates the community to attain its collective goal of eliminating any new instances of HIV infections, eradicating discrimination, and preventing any deaths related to AIDS. 2 United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA. O objectives, provides assistance and protection to Palestinian refugees in the Middle East. 3 United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNCR. O objectives, protects and assists refugees and forcibly displaced communities globally. 4 United Nations System Staff College, UNC. O Objectives, provides learning and development opportunities for UN staff and partners to enhance their skills and knowledge. 5. United Nations Institute for Disarmament Research, UNIDR. O Objectives, conducts research on disarmament and security-related issues to support disarmament and arms control efforts. 6. United Nations University, UNU. O Objectives, undertakes research and capacity development to address global problems and promote sustainable development. 7. United Nations Institute for Training and Research, UNITR. O Objectives, provides training and capacity building activities to assist in the implementation of the UN's goals. 8. UN Women. O Objectives, works towards gender equality and the empowerment of women worldwide. 9. United Nations Office for Project Services, UNOPS. O Objectives, provides project management, procurement, and infrastructure services to support implementation of sustainable development projects and humanitarian initiatives worldwide. Challenges and criticisms faced by the United Nations organization. While the UNO plays a crucial role in global cooperation, it faces several challenges and criticisms that impact its effectiveness in addressing global issues. Geopolitical power struggles. Security Council veto system. A major issue that the UNO grapples with is the way the Security Council operates, especially when it comes to the veto power wielded by its 5 members, China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom and the United States. This veto power can result in deadlock, impede responses to global crises as conflicting interests and power dynamics come into play. Proliferation of armed conflicts. Despite the efforts of the United Nations, UN, armed conflicts persist in parts of the world. A combination of economic and social factors contribute to the initiation and prolongation of these conflicts, posing challenges for the UN's pursuit of long-term peace and security. Proxy wars and terrorism. Non-state actors and proxy wars further complicate the UNO's efforts to maintain peace and security. These conflicts often involve multiple actors with competing interests, making it challenging to achieve consensus, enforce peace agreements, and combat terrorism effectively. Inefficiency and reforms. Funding and resource allocation. The UNO heavily relies on voluntary contributions from member states for its operations and programs. Unequal distribution of funding and resource allocation can lead to imbalances and hinder effective implementation of the UNO's initiatives. Dependence on voluntary funding also limits the UNO's autonomy and ability to address global challenges comprehensively. Decision-making processes. The decision-making processes within the UNO can be lengthy and bureaucratic, making it challenging to respond swiftly to emerging crises. Differing opinions, conflicting agendas, and the need for consensus among member states can slow down decision-making and impede effective action. Accountability and transparency. Critics argue that the UNO lacks sufficient transparency and accountability mechanisms. The complex organizational structure and political considerations can make it difficult to hold member states accountable for violations of international law and human rights. Addressing these issues is crucial for building trust and enhancing the UNO's credibility. Addressing global inequalities. Wealth disparities and economic growth. Global inequalities, including economic disparities, hinder the achievement of sustainable development goals. The UNO faces the challenge of promoting equitable growth, reducing poverty, and ensuring fair distribution of resources and opportunities within and among nations. Access to healthcare and education. Accessing healthcare and education continues to be a hurdle in regions across the globe. The United Nations endeavors to advance access to high-quality healthcare and education encounter obstacles such as funding, inadequate infrastructure, and socio-cultural barriers. Environmental sustainability. Concerning sustainability, there are challenges at hand. These include combating climate change, preserving biodiversity, and tackling pollution. The United Nations is tasked with mobilizing nations to take united action in order to prevent harm to our planet. The United Nations Organization and future global challenges. The United Nations, UN, plays a role in dealing with global problems and fostering collaboration between countries. In an evolving world, the UN consistently works towards addressing issues to secure a sustainable and harmonious future. This section explores the organization's efforts to address future global challenges. Climate change and environmental preservation. Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The UN recognizes that combating climate change and promoting sustainability are critical. As a framework to guide our efforts, the UN developed the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, in order to meet this pledge. These 17 goals encompass areas, such as eradicating poverty, ensuring access to water and sanitation, and taking decisive steps against climate change. With defined objectives and, by fostering collaboration, the UN aims to accomplish these goals by 2030. Carbon neutrality and renewable energy transition. In order to tackle the issue of climate change effectively, the United Nations strongly advocates for achieving carbon neutrality and shifting towards sources of energy. By urging countries to decrease their carbon emissions and promote the utilization of energy, the organization aims to alleviate the consequences of climate change. The UN also actively supports initiatives that encourage practices in a range of industries, including transportation and agriculture, in an effort to create a future that is greener and more sustainable. Conservation of biodiversity and ecosystems. Ecosystem preservation and biodiversity preservation are essential components of the UNO environmental agenda. The group strives to raise awareness and put conservation measures in place that protect the environment and stop the extinction of species. The UNO pushes nations to bolster policies for biodiversity protection and sustainable resource management through programs like the Convention on Biological Diversity. The UNO prioritizes environmental conservation in an effort to preserve the fragile balance of biodiversity on our world. Technological advancements and digital divide. Ensuring digital inclusion and access. In today's era of technology, having access to resources is crucial for achieving progress. The United Nations acknowledges the significance of narrowing the gap in accessibility to ensure opportunities for everyone. Through a range of initiatives and collaborative efforts, the organization endeavors to foster inclusivity in underdeveloped nations. By making affordable and dependable internet connectivity accessible, the United Nations strives to equip individuals and communities with the means to flourish in our society. Cybersecurity and data privacy. As technology continues to advance, cybersecurity and data privacy become increasingly critical. The UNO acknowledges the potential risks associated with the digital realm and emphasizes the need for robust cybersecurity measures. By facilitating international cooperation and advocating for stronger regulations, the organization aims to protect individuals and nations from cyber threats. Furthermore, the UNO works towards establishing global standards for data privacy, ensuring that personal information is safeguarded in an interconnected world. Ethical governance of artificial intelligence. With the rapid development of artificial intelligence, AI, ethical considerations are of paramount importance. The UNO recognizes the necessity of responsible AI governance to prevent any adverse effects on society. Through initiatives such as the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence, the organization seeks to foster international cooperation in developing ethical frameworks for AI use. By encouraging transparency, accountability, and human-centric approaches, the UNO endeavors to harness the potential of AI for the greater good while minimizing potential risks. Global pandemics and health security. Strengthening global health systems. In light of the COVID-19 outbreak, the United Nations, UN, has emphasized the importance of resilient healthcare systems across the globe. Through partnerships with health organizations and member nations, the UN aims to enhance healthcare capabilities and guarantee access to quality medical services for everyone. The UN stresses the significance of investing in healthcare infrastructure, providing training for healthcare professionals, and improving healthcare provision to tackle not pandemics but other public health issues. Pandemic preparedness and early warning systems. To prevent future global pandemics, The UNO emphasizes the significance of preparedness and early warning systems. The organization supports the development and implementation of comprehensive strategies to detect and respond to emerging diseases effectively. By facilitating information sharing and promoting research collaborations, the UNO aims to equip nations with the necessary tools to detect and respond to potential health threats promptly. Global cooperation in vaccine distribution. Ensuring access to vaccines is crucial during times of global pandemic outbreaks. The United Nations, UN, plays a role in coordinating efforts to improve the distribution of vaccines in developing nations. Through initiatives like COVAX, the organization aims to promote fair and equitable access to vaccines worldwide. By mobilizing resources, facilitating technology transfer, and promoting cooperation among nations, the UNO seeks to mitigate the impact of pandemics and safeguard global health security. Summary and FAQs. Recap of the United Nations Organization's significance and goals. The United Nations plays a role in facilitating collaboration, fostering peace, and tackling global issues. With its array of member nations and specialized organizations, the UN works towards promoting development, ensuring peace and security, and safeguarding human rights. Highlight the key functions, agencies, and programs. The United Nations, UN, has a range of responsibilities that include maintaining peace, facilitating negotiations, and providing assistance during crises. Moreover, it includes entities, like UNICEF, WHO and UNESCO, which concentrate on matters such as the well-being of children, healthcare provision, and education. The UN also implements initiatives like the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, which offer a blueprint for creating a more sustainable community. Discuss challenges faced and potential future directions. The UNO faces numerous challenges, including limited resources, geopolitical conflicts, and bureaucratic complexities. However, the organization is continuously working towards improving its effectiveness and adapting to the changing landscape. In order to achieve this, potential future directions may include revamping decision-making processes, strengthening partnerships with governmental entities, and enhancing the organization's ability to respond swiftly to evolving global challenges. By addressing issues such as climate change, bridging the divide, and bolstering global healthcare systems, among other initiatives, the United Nations organization actively contributes to shaping international cooperation for peace and progress. Through their dedication, the UNO strives to build an inclusive, sustainable, and peaceful world for everyone. The United Nations organization serves as a guiding light of hope and collaboration, by weaving strands of global cooperation. Together we can tackle the hurdles that lie ahead and shape a future where peace and progress reign supreme. Frequently asked questions, FAQs. 1. What is the United Nations organization's primary goal? The United Nations organization's main goal is to bring nations together to resolve disputes and prevent wars. Its focus lies on preserving peace, fostering collaboration, and safeguarding rights across the globe. 2. How does the United Nations organization promote peace and security? The United Nations organization promotes peace and security by encouraging countries to talk and negotiate instead of fighting. It sends peacekeepers to areas experiencing conflicts, helps countries resolve disagreements peacefully, and imposes sanctions or takes action against those threatening peace. 3. In what ways is the UN attempting to address issues like inequality and climate change? The United Nations organization is actively engaged in tackling challenges like climate change and inequality through efforts among nations. It facilitates conferences where countries come together to discuss strategies for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Additionally, it offers aid to nations affected by climate change while striving to ensure opportunities for all individuals. 4. What measures are currently under consideration to improve the effectiveness of the United Nations organization? To enhance its effectiveness, there are discussions regarding reforms within the United Nations organization. These measures encompass initiatives such as making the Security Council more representative and transparent, improving decision-making processes, allocating funds towards development programs, and strengthening its ability to respond swiftly during crises. Thank you for watching this video.